Hello and welcome to Tip Jar Guitar. First of all, go to ts011.com to sign up for my free newsletter, and you'll instantly get 5 really useful chord charts in the most popular keys and blank tab with blank chord sheets. I'm just going to teach this right off of this tab and chord sheet that I made here. And if you want it, you can go, of course it's going to be right on the screen, but if you'd like to support the site and the YouTube channel, just go to patreon.com/tipjarguitar and tip me, and you'll get this and practice tracks and the guitar profile. So this is going to be a 3-chord song, 1, 4, 5 in the key of G. And so the first chord is going to be G5. So you take your 2 finger, our middle finger, put it on the 3rd fret of the low E right there. And then the angle is going to come at an angle and mute the A. So you don't want to come straight down. You actually want to mute the A there. So excuse me, that's where that X is there. Play open D, open G, and then take your 3 finger and your 4 finger behind the 3rd fret of the B and the high E. So there's your G5, just a nice droning chord, doesn't even have a major or a minor sound. And what you want to do then is we're going to hold down this G5 and measure in bar 1 right here. But the first thing we're going to do is the boom of the boom chuck. So that's going to be the bass note. So I'm just keeping my pick pretty level, doing a free stroke, meaning you don't rest it like that. And you could, but for this song it's going to get more of a flow if you just pick that note for the boom. And then the chuck, you're kind of like flicking water. Just a nice, and the thing about the chuck too is as you go down, you kind of squeeze the pick harder as you get to the higher strings to make them loud enough to compete with the dynamic levels of all the strings. You got to kind of squeeze the pick as you get to these higher strings. And now you might notice there's this kind of funny X here in parentheses. That means that if you accidentally do play it, it's a ghost note. It'll just mute, but really you're aiming for 4 through 1. But if you hit the 5, that's your insurance policy. So that is 2 eighth notes right here. 1 and is what you would say. So boom chuck is 1 and now keep your, and I forgot to mention with the 3 and 4 finger, you need to have the 3 finger back just a little bit to make room for the pinky. You definitely want both of them behind the fret. So now actually when you get to beat 2 here, you're going to play an open A. So lift up these fingers, lift up, keep your 3 and 4 down, and then you're going to play that open A and immediately hammer on with your 1 finger to the 2nd fret. So that's your boom there. It's a hammer on boom. Like that. And then the chuck is the same. So, and that's gonna, since it's a portion of 2 16th notes here, you say 1 E and. So this little part here, if you were to count it, would be 1 and 2 E and. 1 and 2 E and. So it's 1 and 2 E and. 1 and 2 E and. And as I do that chuck right here, this chuck, oops, what's going on? The chuck on beat 2 where this cursor is here, you can lift up the finger that you hammered on. That kind of sets you up. So, and then that's just going to repeat. These are all the same. So beats 3 and 4 are the same as 1 and 2, and then you play the whole measure again. So measures 1 and 2 would just be like this. Make sure everything's nice and loud and has a even, clean sound. And if you need extra help with this, you can also go to tipjarguitar.com, and I offer Skype lessons, really affordable. And you can also get your first lesson for $1 if you're a Patreon of mine, where of course you get the tab that I'm teaching off of and the guitar profiles. I also offer guitar coaching where I can spend as much time making videos just for you or figuring something out just for you or helping you with one of my lessons. So I hope you take me up on that. And everything's jumpy. All right, so now we're going to go to bar 3. And here it's going to start off the same as what we just did. So you just go boom, chuck. But now we're going to play for beat 2. We're just going to play this open A, no hammer on. Then beat 3, we're going to play the B on the 2nd fret with our 1 finger. And then chuck. And then you go back to beat 4 is the same as beat 1. So you have this nice little bass line. If I played the bass line without the chucks, it would be. And those are the downbeats, or the beats that you count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then when you add the chucks, those are ands. So you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's measure 3 right there. And now let's go to measure 4. And first I'll play just the bass line. So it's starting on the 3rd fret of the A. So you go 3rd fret, 2nd fret with your 1 finger, open D, and then, I'm sorry, open A, and then the F sharp here on the 2nd fret of the low E. So it's C, B, A, F sharp. Then you just add the chucks. Sorry, there we go. So it's. That last one sounds kind of funny, but it's only a passing note, so it's going to create just a little bit of tension, and it will be resolved in the next measure. You will see. So here you can actually aim for strings 3 through 1, but I just put the chucks as 4 through 1. But in this case, when you're playing these bass notes, sometimes this finger will naturally mute that D string, so you don't necessarily have to play that. But if you do, it's no big deal either. So it's more of just a 4 through 1 for the strings, or 3 through 1 on those notes with the bass note on the A. All right, so then this measure 5 is the same as measure 3. So you can see how that's not a big deal. Do that same thing. Go to measure 6. Now we're going to play this bass line where you go. So right there you can see that's 3rd fret of A, which is a C note, open D, 2nd fret B, open D. So you just go. And again, maybe I shouldn't even have put this in, because you can aim for strings 3 through 1 mostly on this measure. If you do play the 4 open, that's no big deal either. So, all right, and then so really these 4 measures here, when you play measure 3 through 6 are kind of important because you repeat them again, so it'll sound like this. And you can see I just made an error there, but not a big deal. If you make that kind of an error, it still doesn't sound too bad. You just want to keep playing, and that's an important thing about the boom chuck, is that you just want to keep that kind of flow and that rhythm going. So let's do this one more time. We go. That's with the repeats. I played through it twice there. And when you're practicing the boom chuck, you can also practice it with just scratches sometimes, so you can lay these fingers just nice and lightly, a little bit spread out over all 6 strings, and just get this kind of feel of going. My buttons are making a funny noise there, but yeah, just a good way to practice it. Boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck. And of course, you can go a little slower too at first, or even. So take as much time as you need, and if you needed to do it to a metronome, which actually you really should, once you get the feeling for it, it would sound like this. Alright, keys in the way, everything's all crazy. So this is slow. You can make each tick an eighth note, so you could go like this. Or, sorry. And so forth, all the way through it. And if you wanted to speed it up a little, you can make each tick not an eighth note, because here it would be boom, chuck, boom, chuck. You can make each tick a quarter note, and then it would be like this. Boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck. So that's the kind of the little bit quicker, more advanced way to practice it. So you can either make each tick an eighth note, boom, chuck, or you can go like this. Boom, chuck, boom, chuck. So I hope that makes sense. All right, and now, again, I offer Skype lessons. And now after you play that, then we're going to go to C sus2, which is just like the G5, except you take that two finger down. So you can see up here on the chord chart, same chord, you just put the two finger down. And I like to wrap my thumb up over the top, just to barely mute that low E. And of course you still want the string below your two finger, in this case the D, to be muted. Now funny enough, if I played my one finger on the second fret here, it'd be called a C add 9, because that's the third degree of the chord. So whenever you remove the third and replace it with something else, it's called a sus. So in this case, a suspended, we have no third. But if I had the third there still and I was adding the note, it would be called an add 9. So I thought I'd sprinkle that in there, if you're interested in music theory. So this is the same type of thing, except now we're just, hammering on the second fret of the D. So it's the same thing we did in measures 1 and 2, just everything, these two fingers are shifted. So you play two measures of this, like this. You go 1, 2, or sorry, it's 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and. So there's the rhythm to that. And then finally, you're gonna go to a D. And then notice we have just an alternating bass line from open D to open A, open D to open A. So in this measure, if I just played I'm holding a D chord down, if I just played the bass line, then it would be like this. And then if I add the chucks on strings 3 through 1, the fretted notes, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that. And yeah, I'm aiming for strings 3 through 1, but say I hit the A on string 5 and then play strings 4 through 1, no big deal. Really, the main thing is just keeping that flow going. A boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck, boom, chuck. Even if I hit a wrong note, if I go like... I forgot to alternate one, I forgot, I did it on purpose, but if you do that, just keep the flow going. Don't worry too much at first about getting everything exact. The more exact thing is to keep the rhythm going and hold the chord down, and everything should sound fine. So now, to finish it up, we're going to keep that, we're going to lift up the one finger and put it on the second fret of the G, and the bass line will go like this: 2, second fret of D, open D, second fret of A, open A. So the notes we're playing are E, D, B, A. Then you add the chuck. Then notice on the last chuck, I put my pinky down for that, on that third fret, and then that sets us up. So you go like, then you repeat back to the other repeat symbol, which is just going to take you back here. And then you play all through it again. You repeat this again. It's exactly what I played at the beginning. And then at the very end, you can just slowly play a G5. And really, this should have an X here, so I'll put that in there. So it's going to say, that's just the resting strum. I'm putting my pick, resting it here, and letting it fall. Kind of angled back. And then I didn't put that little ending lick, but that ending lick is just G. Or how does it go? So you. Alright, that's it. So you go hammer on, and then you do a hammer on and then a pull off, and then play the open G. And you can play the whole thing. We can play bass down. So that's just kind of like a classic ending to sort of a song in G. So hope you enjoyed this lesson. Again, I give guitar coaching, Skype guitar lessons, and you can tip me any amount and you can get the worksheet, this tab actually, the guitar profile, and I'll put some practice tracks up there. So you can put this in your book and really, focus on it and help support the site and the YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed this beautiful boom chucker lesson. And, this is a great country technique. You can even use these techniques to, help write your own songs. And really what I was doing here, if you didn't know, is I'm playing a G major scale. And then there's also those notes in it too. So that's how that works there. Excuse me. All right. So thank you very much. Come back to tipjarguitar.com and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.